I thought this was a good opportunity to just take a minute and talk about growing asparagus in zone 5A. And this is a 3-year-old asparagus plant planted from a root bundle. I believe it contained 5 plant roots in a bundle, purchased for I think $5 from the local agricultural store. And I'd like to find the variety of this so I can put it in the description. It's been very, very vigorous. And, you know, I've got a huge spear here and also a huge spear right here. It's a little misshapen because they can be misshapen from slug damage. Or if you see this one here, it had a difficult time. This had a difficult time making it out of the pretty coarse wood chips I have here. And there's also a slug right there. So this is a great spear though. This is thumb sized. You can't really tell from the perspective of the camera, but it is big. It's virtually as big as they get from my experience. And this patch has the green and the purple variety. Like I said, I'll try to put the technical names in the description. But this is a 3-year-old patch, and it's been moderately well cared for. And you can see some of the thinner spears I'm already allowing to grow and begin leafing out. And I just wanted to show you the difference between a 3-year patch of what I believe to be already 1-year-old plants purchased at the store. So I believe perhaps 4 years of maturity on this root system here versus 2 years of starting your own from seed. So here's a bundle of spears right here, and you can see they're pretty small. You know, this is only a little over a 1/4 inch diameter at the 4 inches off the ground. And these were actually planted out from seed two years ago, I believe in January. And it's kind of hard to describe. I can show you an example here. Here's a very, very small one. Look at this. That stem is, oh gosh, 1/8 of an inch or smaller. And it looks, it's an exact replica of a much bigger asparagus spear. It's just mini. And this could be because these plants are much more shaded by the goldenrods on this kind of weedy bank of my amphibian pond right there. But most of the plants in this little bed here, as you can see, are, a 1/4 inch diameter. There's a couple over there that are 3/8 and perhaps even almost a 1/2 inch, almost edible, but I'm not harvesting anything from this bed this year. And these have not been fertilized with anything. It's kind of my method of operation. I only really use some kind of mulches on the surface, and I don't fertilize anything with any kind of imported fertilizer. I'm just trying to build the tilth of the ground naturally with what's available literally on hand. But what you can see is that next year, this entire bed, which is around 18 feet long, is probably going to begin, for the most part, putting up indexed finger sized spears from every plant for, about a whole 2-month period. And if I really want these plants to harden in and get even bigger, I'll only take some of the choicest spears from each one of these plants once or twice, and that's it. And if I can stay off of them and not eat them, I'm expecting this 16, 18 foot bed here of asparagus to begin producing spears like this. And so it's going to be a 4-year commitment to get up to thumb-sized spears in zone 5 when planting out asparagus. Perhaps you can save a year if you're going to invest in importing a bunch of fertility and get some plants that are hardier or more established. But what I've discovered though is that these asparagus do really well fending for themselves. Don't even really need to weed in here. The roots, I believe, from the asparagus are deeper, and I believe that it's a much more aggressive plant than almost any weed in the area. So I'm really happy with it. And what I think is key for asparagus, in my opinion, is that the spears are very nutritious and they're somewhat proteinaceous for being a, plant food that grows well perennially in this environment, zone 5A. But they also begin sprouting and putting up spears right about in the middle of the hunger gap for this region. And I think that they're just a hell of a crop. And one of my only regrets is not actually having planted a whole bunch more seeds and had created an asparagus wall that was 50 feet long. That's what I regret, because I really do love eating asparagus, and there's never enough to go around. But when you need them most, they're here as one of the first things you can possibly eat in the springtime.